Officer Ellenwood is one of our instructors on this. He's taken over for Officer Marie Miller, who is kind of spearheaded this program since 2011. And this program, I believe that both of these programs are actually saving lives, and we just don't even get to know about it because we're dealing with young kids up through their mid-20s driving, and we're dealing with child safety seats. And everybody thinks we can just throw child safety seat in a car and it's good to go. But we send officers to a 40-hour training to learn how to put these in properly so that we can keep our young kids safe and stuff. And Officer Ellenwood's going to give you a brief run on that, but he's also going to talk to you about a new program that we started this year that two of our instructors went to. And it's kind of exciting for us because it adds another element to this program. So, Officer Ellenwood.
Good evening. As I begin to talk to you, to clear up any confusion, I'm not originally from Idaho, if you didn't notice. Want to get the elephant out of the room. And I recently moved to Idaho and started work with the police department here in Moscow about 18 months ago. And
I can understand him just fine. I don't know about y'all.
You got a couple of folks up here that are not natives from here as well, so you're fitting in just fine.
Yeah. I moved from a department in North Carolina that was very proactive in child passenger safety seats. And I was very pleased to know when I got to Moscow that this is a tradition here as well. Just a little bit of my background. I've been in public safety service for about 23 years, and any time that I've experienced death in my job or many coworkers, it's most difficult when it involves children. And one element I believe that is because children can't take care of themselves. They rely on caretakers. This program is designed to educate the caregivers of children. And it's very valuable educational material that we give them. Some people look at this program as just a way for people to obtain free car seats, and that's basically at the bottom of the priority list. It's education to these parents and these caregivers. So there's great passion in this program, and I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm hoping you have some statistics in front of you for the grant, and if not, I'd be glad to read some of those. Just between 2015 and 2016, statistically, there's been a huge increase in the number of families that have been reached by this program. Not only the number of families served, but the number of seats that we have been able to provide to these families. There's a great networking that goes on. This is just not Moscow Police Department. Right now there are 16 other agencies and businesses that we collaborate with to make this program happen. We just happen to be at the forefront. We do a lot of the hosting of the classes. We apply for the grant that funds this program. But it's amazing to me to see, even on the private sector, the number of people that have shown interest in this program. Just to give you an example, I don't know if you're familiar with Palouse Care Network. Happens to be where my wife currently is working, and they have just applied for a grant. They are an agency that deals with crisis pregnancies, and they help families in the birth of their children and parenting classes. They're going to send one of their employees to become a technician. That benefits the city of Moscow and the police department in a tremendous way, that they will be able to fit these car seats themselves. I think word of mouth advertising is huge. I think that's why it's gaining momentum. The more families we serve, the more they realize how beneficial the program is, the more they tell their neighbors, families, and friends. The program that's new and exciting that Chief Fry just mentioned, about 3 weeks ago our department hosted, and again we hosted it, but there was approximately 15 students in this class from basically all over northern Idaho and eastern Washington on the application of child safety seats for children with special needs. And it was absolutely enlightening to see the technology that's available that families don't know about, and even as technicians that we weren't even aware of that were there. the beautiful part of that class was it was a 2-day class that we hosted here in Moscow. We were able to bring in 5 families from the Moscow area that had children with special needs. Every one of those families came in with drastic misuse of car seats, some none, and it's because there was nothing available to them. We had representation from the Department of Transportation in Idaho, and they actually funded new car seats, some of them custom-made, in excess of $1,000 a seat. That didn't come out of Moscow's budget, that came out of the state budget to provide to these families. It was a beautiful thing to see these families be able to drive away knowing that their children were safer than when they came. I could speak on and on and on. Maybe you have some questions. Again, if you want some statistics, maybe I could provide those to you.
Well, first off, officer, we're all very, very proud of what you, all the officers have been doing in this program, and it continues to grow, and it's very evident that it's very, very worthwhile, and it's a big thing for us. John Weber, I'm going to give you a shot to talk to this guy because you were anxious to speak to.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that when we do get officers that may be on duty, I don't know whether you are on duty right now, but you came down here and you're getting involved in things that are normally not what people would consider police activity, and you're really doing a public service to the community, to yourselves, and to your police department. I think you're to be thanked and applauded, so thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I wanted to mention something, too, about numbers. And in 2015, there was a total of 238 of these seats checked, and in 2016, 472. That is a huge amount. And as you know, and you talked about other law enforcement agency, I know when we do the safety fair, we also have our Latah County deputies as well as the state patrol very involved, as well as our fire department. So it's a big deal. We had a number of different agencies involved in this. Other questions for the officer?
I have a question. Yeah. Mine has to do with, because on one of the deliverables on page 63, it talks about trying to reach out to low-income families. Have you gone through the school system?
I don't know a lot of the history of the program, so I don't want to misspeak. Mm-hmm. Again, word of the mouth is the main thing. I don't know if there's been direct invitation to the school system to advertise about the program. Certainly something that we can look into. Obviously, we have a lot of children that are being transported to and from the elementary schools in these type seats.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, well,
I'd make a motion to approve the proposed grant application and accept the anticipated award of $13,800 from the Idaho Transportation Department, the Office of Highway Safety.
Second?
Okay, we got a motion by Art and a second by Catherine to approve the general grant application and accept the anticipated award of $13,800 from the Idaho Transportation Department, Office of Highway Safety. I'll start to roll. John.
Aye.
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 And I.
There you go, officer. Thank you very much for all the hard work and everything you do. And I know that Marie was not able to be here. Officer Miller, please give her my gratitude because she's been very, very involved in the safety fair that always goes on in June. And I love attending that. It's just amazing to me. The chief's there. We got lots of officers, and it's a fun day. God, there's thousands of people that come up and show up for that thing, so it's really a big deal for us. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and I'm sure Chief Fry wants to close. Thank you for your part.
We do want to thank you for your support. You've always supported us in these endeavors, but like we've talked about, these really do make a difference in our community. They keep our children safe. They keep our community safe. And we are very proud to be at the forefront of pushing these programs out, and we'll continue to do that. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
I want to make a mention here, too, because on our Public Works and Finance meeting of December 12th, and this is something that Walter Steed had brought up about being able to bring this on the regular agenda and not put it on the consent agenda. And I think that was a big deal because you men and women need to get the recognition out there in the public of the great job and work you've done. And so it's neat to be able to see this. It was neat to get Erin here, because she never gets a chance to address us, and so a lot of the public really doesn't know who Erin is, and we're all very proud of the hard work that she does. So it's a collaborative work within your team there, and that's a big deal for us. So thank you, Walter, for.
You're welcome, Mayor. The idea was to make the public more aware of these programs and let them know that if they'd like to take advantage of it, or if they'd like to turn around to the teenager on the couch and say, why haven't you mentioned this to me? They now know about it, so.
Absolutely.